The Mediterranean Sea covers over 900,000 square miles. Tracking a single vessel across this dark expanse typically requires a network of dedicated military satellites and radar arrays. But inside the public GPS tracking data of a popular fitness app, an anomaly appears right in the middle of that empty water. It's a closed, glowing loop mapping a 7-kilometer run that took about 36 minutes to complete. The person logging those miles wasn't running on water. They were doing laps on the flight deck of the Charles de Gaulle, France's nuclear-powered $4 billion aircraft carrier, deployed to the region for an active military operation. The French Navy maintains strict operational security to keep this vessel's exact coordinates hidden from adversaries. Yet a single officer forgot to turn off their location sharing, broadcasting the carrier's real-time position to the entire internet. For decades, military timepieces were purely functional. Troops relied on rugged, offline hardware, watches built to survive impacts and water, with no ability to transmit a signal. That standard shifted as consumer technology advanced. Service members began wearing GPS-enabled smartwatches to the field, valuing the ability to navigate tactical environments and track their personal fitness during deployments. These devices sync to a massive consumer ecosystem. Apps like Strava have turned physical exercise into a global social network, logging the daily routes of nearly 200 million users. This creates a direct conflict with OPSEC, or operational security, the process of keeping critical military information out of enemy hands. The human habit of measuring a morning jog inadvertently built a digital blind spot right into modern militaries. The true scale of this vulnerability became visible in 2017. Strava published a global heat map, a data visualization that aggregated billions of individual user activities into a single publicly accessible map. If you are an intelligence analyst looking at standard satellite imagery of deserts in Djibouti or Afghanistan, you would see remote, isolated stretches of sand and tarmac. Overlaying fitness data onto these blank spaces reveals hidden activity. Aggregated data of soldiers running perfectly outlines the physical perimeters of forward operating bases and CIA black sites scrubbed from public maps. The heaviest traffic even isolates exact locations of guard posts and mess halls. This exposure reached far beyond overseas deployments. Highly secure domestic intelligence agencies were similarly illuminated by the daily commuting and jogging routes of their own employees. The physical camouflage and remote locations of these facilities work exactly as intended against traditional surveillance. But those physical differences sail when the aggregate behavioral data of the people inside is uploaded to the cloud. Exposing the shape of a secret base is a severe breach, but the intelligence leak extends much deeper than geography. It compromises the individual identities of the personnel. The platform encourages friendly competition through a feature called segments. Users can designate a short stretch of road and compete for the fastest time on a public leaderboard. From a single segment outside an Afghan base, analysts can pull real names, photos, and deployment dates for 50 service members. Tracking this historical data across continents, an officer can follow a user's jogging routine from a covert Djibouti deployment directly to a German airbase. By simply leaving their default privacy settings on, covert military personnel transform their open-source fitness metadata into an involuntary global tracking beacon. By 2022, this open-source vulnerability escalated from accidental data aggregation into a targeted, weaponized exploit against Israeli forces. The core flaw in the system is verification. The fitness platform has no way to confirm if a user actually, physically, ran the route they uploaded. Hostile actors exploited this by injecting fake segments with manipulated GPS data directly into top-secret Israeli nuclear and intelligence facilities. These artificially generated routes act as a digital trap. They bypass strict user privacy settings, forcing the profiles of anyone who exercised near that hidden base onto a public leaderboard, stripping away their anonymity. Fitness apps transitioned from being a passive source of accidental leaks. They became active espionage tools, explicitly manipulated by foreign adversaries to hunt and identify intelligence targets. These consecutive breaches triggered an immediate scramble across global militaries. The Pentagon and allied forces were forced to rewrite their security protocols to address the digital exhaust of their own troops. Modern troops now treat personal electronics and smart devices as active foreign espionage liabilities. The daily physical reality of the military workplace now involves stripping off all transmitting devices before stepping into a SIFE. A SIFE is a sensitive compartmented information facility, a highly secure room built specifically to process classified information and block outside electronic signals. High walls, barbed wire, and radar jammers are highly effective against external threats, but they offer zero protection when the tracking device is strapped to a soldier's wrist and carried through the front gate. Secrets can no longer be kept purely through physical isolation. In the era of big data, the aggregation of our most mundane, everyday habits is enough to unravel national security.